Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86. Here you will find everything from your favorite characters, from anime, series, or movies, such as figures, statues, trading cards, and other limited special edition items. I will show you everything that is included. For example, we will discuss the design of the box, how it's packaged, the design of the figure, the articulation points, the accessories that are included, and we will see our favorite characters in special scenes. And you never know, you might see other characters make special guest appearances, so you can decide whether it's worth getting or not. Subscribe and join me on new weekly adventures. Now let's start the show. Let's go. Welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86, and today from Hot Toys I present to you Venompool. I believe this was a character that came out as a result of a video game of just taking Venom and Deadpool and combining them into one character. I believe the game was called Marvel Contest of Champions, which basically takes the idea of a symbiote finding Deadpool and transforming him into what you see here, Venompool. Looking at the front of the box, you see a close-up shot of Venompool. Then on the side you can see he's wielding a sword. There were two versions of this figure. One was the collector's edition, then the other one was the exclusive. Since I bought this a few years ago, I don't quite remember which version I got, but I remember the exclusive version had an extra head which had Venompool grinning with a smile. I know Hot Toys creates also the ones from the movies, but since Venompool hasn't came out in a movie yet, he's only made appearances through the video game. So there you have it. On the back side of the box, hopefully you can see it, but it's a very light silhouette where you can see Venompool holding his pistol. In the center is more like the credits of all the different cast and crew of whoever worked to make this character possible, and the figure. Overall, I do like the design of the box. It's got that Venom Deadpool theme of the black and red, and it's designed very well. To me, it's just right, especially that close-up shot of Venompool holding both of his katanas. Here's a quick overview. Venompool is packaged in two blister packs. So this is the first one that basically has the figure, the two head versions, and like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't remember if I had gotten the exclusive version or the collector's edition, but since I see the expression with the grin, then that means I actually went and got the exclusive one. The second blister pack just has the katana swords, and then the two, I don't even know what to call them, as those things that come out of Venom's body that he uses when he is fighting. So that is what is in the second blister pack. This figure comes with some instructions, so let's take a look at them. It shows you how to swap out the different eyes, so that would add more expressions to them. Then it gives you the angles of each section as far as movements go. I don't know what they're called, but it shows you how to attach those things that come out of his body. Then it has a close-up shot of how to install the katana swords on the back of Venom. Then it shows you the pistol, how to swap the heads. Then it tells you that the outfit cannot be removed. This is the 360 of Venompool straight out of the box. Here's a close-up of the head just so you can look at those little nice details. Just look at them big massive teeth. I don't know if the camera can capture it, but on the inside it's got the feature where you can put out the tongues. So he comes with two different tongues, but if you don't want to, you don't have to pose him with it. So this is what he will look like without the tongue coming out of his mouth. And since the eyes are swappable, and since this figure came with two different heads, you have several different variants that you can swap out the head and to make different expressions. As you can see, he is a very massive figure. He has this giant body with a little head, so proportionally he looks just like a typical Venom, right? He has a really big upper body, huge arms, small head, and medium-sized legs. I don't know why. It's like on these figures the lower half doesn't match the upper half, I would say, and here's an example of it. So he is very top heavy. Overall, the figure does feel very solid as well. I did move a little bit of the joints, so they sound like they're mechanical or spring loaded. Follow me on IG at Titan del 86. So it seems overall, if you look at it, he comes in with shackles by the wrists and the ankles. He's got his utility belt In the back side, that's probably where the katanas get attached to, and also somewhere in there you could probably pop a couple sections out so you could put the things that come out of Venom when he's attacking. The other thing to note, it seems like the Venom portions are mostly on the sides, where you see there from a little bit from the thigh all the way to the bicep on the shoulder, but it seems most of the body appears to be covered in Deadpool's outfit. Obviously the main form is Venom wearing the Deadpool costume, and then again you have the Venom head with the eyes, and apparently you can swap out the eyes that's being held magnetically, so that is pretty cool. If you like what you see, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Just take a look at all those little details within the costume. Now let's check out what articulations come with this Venompool. You can kind of hear it in the head. I don't know if the camera can capture that sound, but it seems to be spring loaded on the inside. So he's got a little bit of head movement. It's not the best, but it's there. Probably because the joints are stiff on this figure. This is as low as you can see. This is as high. So this is as high as the arm can go. You can hear the locking mechanisms that are spring loaded in the joints. It's got the ability where you can retract the arms in and out of the shoulder. You do get a 360. There you have it. This is as center as the arms can go. Honestly, this figure is really huge. Way too big for the camera. So sorry about that. I am not set up for huge figures here. So that's some good reach here. He does give you in and out movement of the shoulder. Here's the right angle on the elbow. And one thing to note, you can kind of hear the clicking mechanism there. One thing to note, if you read the instructions, it'll tell you that the figure is not really designed to have those really sharp angles, and that's because of this rubbery plastic skin that it has. You just don't want to put too much stress on it over a long period of time, because as the plastic dries up, in case it's in a dry environment, it becomes brittle and then it cracks. You do get 360 off the wrist. You do get up and down as well. You do get chest movement, or in this case you get it more from the hips, so it's not really off the upper. You can kind of see the movement. Basically it's coming from right here. See that? You really don't want to do torsional rotationals here. He's not set up for it. Legs. This is as close as to a split, and again you don't want to tear up the skin. I think this is as high as we're going to get with the leg, and that's as far back as we're going to get here. There's your knee. Get somewhat on the ankles, not a whole lot, and as close as the inboard side. This is close on the outboard side, so it's not a whole lot there. So overall for this giant figure, the articulations, I would say they're okay. They're not the best to what we're used to seeing here on this channel. Like if I was to compare it to an SH Figure Arts, obviously that takes the cake. But for this massive figure and the design, I'd say the articulations are pretty good. And it's not like you're going to be able to do super crazy poses with the figure anyway. The figure is not designed to be too crazy articulated, to have very dynamic, demanding poses. It's only designed for basic poses that don't demand too much of the figure. Here's a close-up of the two head sculptures along with all the accessories that come with this Venompool. Here you can see the pistol, the magazine for it, the katanas, the sheath, and the cell phone. I'm not sure why they did the cell phone, but whatever. Looks like an Android phone, so big ups to Venompool. He uses an Android and not an iPhone. Let's not get into that discussion because I am Android Pro. The gun, I really like the details on it, and I also like that you're able to pull the magazine out even though overall for the figure that wouldn't have made a big difference, but it is neat. Once we flip the cell phone over, you can see that it's got the Deadpool logo. Then you can see kind of like the camera. Then if you look in the close-up of the magazine, you can see the bullets. This is some really good details on these accessories. Just look at that bullet. And if you look on the side of the magazine, it actually has the numbers, just like a real magazine that shows you the bullet count, so you can know how many bullets you can fit through that magazine. For this scene, I have Venompool with the grinting expression. I gave them the regular eyes. To me, these are going to be the normal eyes. He comes with 3 sets, one with squinting, normal, and then the ones where they're really wide. So to me, I'm going to say these are the neutral ones. So for this one, he's holding the pistol, pointing it at someone while he's taking a phone call with a grinting smile. And he's ready to take shot because if you remember from the Deadpool movie, he started out kind of like a hitman. I really like the details on this figure. They're phenomenal. Plus just look at the details from the pistol. And on this head sculpture, you can see all the details between the teeth and this menacing grin. You can see that it has an evil undertone where he's up to no good. I also went and attached the swords on the back so you can see what that looks like. And I know right now we have seen many different forms of Venom. You've seen where Venom has taken over Iron Man, the Hulk, Captain America, even Groot. Just to name a few examples of what we've seen. And some of those have came out as figures, whether it's done through Hot Toys or just a Funko Pop. But they're out there. And this one, just seeing Venom and Deadpool combined, that's a cool one. Which I do have a Venom by Hot Toys, and I also have Carnage by Hot Toys as well. As of right now, I don't have any plans of going over that particular one, but that'll be way in the future. One thing that I noticed is the Venom skin on this figure looks a lot similar to that one particular figure. But once we get there, we'll do a comparison between this Venompool and the regular Venom. I also like how it transitions between Venom and Deadpool, where it kind of got like the staple features on it. So it makes him seem like the body is stapled together, which is pretty cool. If you like what you see, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking of this Venompool. He's got a lot of accessories. One thing I would have liked to have seen on the figure is maybe have the holder for the pistol. Because you have the holder for the katanas on his back, but for the cell phone and the pistol, he doesn't really have a holder. To me, it would have made more sense if one of those pockets, or if there was a feature there that would have held the pistol and the cell phone. Since based on the belt and all that stuff, he had to have some stuff in there. So that would have been something that would have been nice to see on this figure. But other than that, I'm not really complaining about it. One thing to note, since the figure is very top heavy, depending on how you balance the figure, sometimes it will put stress on it, and instead of like falling sideways or whatnot, what it tends to do, it kind of just it bends down. So he'll end up bending down to, if you remember from the articulations, when you flex the chest portion of it, how it comes and bends over. So that's kind of what's been happening with this figure, just based on the position of the arms and how the weight is distributed. So it seems to be putting a lot of pressure on the top half of the figure. Follow me on IG at Titandro86. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite Venomized collaboration. Is it Venom and Deadpool, Venom and Wolverine, Iron Man, the Hulk, you name it? Let me know which one looks the best. And actually, I'll show you in a minute, but the pistol, you can actually simulate it when you're loading it. Not that the figure capitalized on it, since the arms aren't really able to fully cross towards the center. So you can hold it kind of like when he's pulling the hammer back. Here's a cool feature that is somewhat gimmicky. It's sad that you can't really do much with it in regards as far as usage in the figure, but you could actually do this. Too bad you can't really do much with it. as far as if you wanted to display him reloading or with it, it doesn't really do much for you. But it's at least it's cool that they thought about it. For this scene, I decided to add the little accessory pieces that kind of show coming out of the Venom body. They look like tentacles, but if you remember, Venom uses this also to attack, kind of like sharp swords or sharp daggers, whatever he wants to do, since his body is basically able to simulate and take the form of any weapon or any type of shape that he needs during that time. I changed the head sculpture to the other one, which is the original one. Then I added one of the tongues. This one seems to be more biased towards the right side, and here I kind of just have him kind of like being mad and powering up with the tentacles coming off his back. He looks really amazing. Overall for this figure, since the articulation points are not that much, I think if I remember correctly from the box, it advertised 90 points of articulation, but once you have the full figure, and obviously you're limited by the silicone skin, where you don't want to overstress the joints just to prevent damage on the silicone skin, so you are very limited to what you can do with this figure. The articulation points are not bad, but you can't really do strong action scenes with them, so it's very good just for making subtle poses that are not too straining to the figure. This is kind of where SH Figure Arts would be better at it, but the size of this figure and kind of like the skin type that they wanted to give it kind of outshines that, which I think if it wasn't for the silicone skin, he would have better articulation points, but we're limited. But again, the focus here is not to take away from the figure. So because of how the skin is on the figure, all the joints are hidden, which makes it look really nice because you're not distracted by the joints. The only sections where you can actually see the joints would be between where the belt is, a little bit above it, and then also when the arms come into the shoulders. But other than that, all the joints are very hidden. For the arms, since you can pull them out and pull them in through the shoulder, then that also can hide the collar of the joint. Overall, the figure is really good. The one thing that I'm not liking would be swapping out the headpiece and the hands. Swapping out the heads is not as bad as the hands, and some of the reason for that, I think the head is a lot easier because the neck doesn't have too much of the ability to move, but on the hands it is very difficult. When you try to snap the new hands in there, you feel a lot of pressure of a pushback, not only because you have the joint that keeps moving, but also because of the silicone skin pushing back on it. So I'm not sure if they accounted for the height of the silicone skin, which kind of comes out a little bit even to where the ball joint is. So it makes the hands attachment very difficult. You have to put a lot of force and strain on it, which is not something that I'm 100% comfortable, just because I don't want to mess up the figure where you're overstretching the silicone skin and probably putting a potential tear on it. I think for this one, an improvement would have been to have the joint be a little bit longer just to account for the pushback of the silicone skin. Another thing to note when you're attaching the tentacles on the back of Venompool, one thing to consider is it's got the 4 sections on the back side. I put one at the top and one at the bottom, but if you follow it across to the opposite side, that's where the other attachment feature would be. I originally was going to do both bottoms, so when I had both of them at the bottom, I noticed that I was putting pressure at the bottom of the sheath where it wasn't freely flowing, it was more bind to it, and I just didn't want to have any witness marks or smudges on it where it scuffed the paint or it scuffed the plastic rubbery piece that comes off the base of the tentacle. My recommendation here is not to put 2 of them side by side if you're going to have the sheath and the back as well. If you wanted to do both tentacles at the same level, whether it's top or bottom, I would suggest not to have the sheath attached to the back of Venompool. But then again, that kind of messes up the image of it. To me, he looks better with the sheath on it, so that's kind of why I put the tentacles, one at the top and then diagonally the other one at the bottom. The other thing is you probably don't want to overbend them just so you don't break the wire that's holding the shape of it. They are flexible, but you can't really do sharp angles. You can only do soft ones, kind of like what you see here. I have a feeling if you start doing overbendings or sharp bends to them, you could damage them, which would eventually break them. For this scene, I have Venompool with the other tongue. If you notice, this tongue is more biased to his left side. And for this one, I changed one of the hands to have the katana. And then on the other one, I have him with the finger pointing. So in this one, he's kind of daunting his enemy to get close. and he has the katana ready to strike, and then he could possibly just pull the second one so he could start slicing with both of them, since we know Deadpool's specialty was the swords as well as the pistol, but he was really good with the swords if you remember. The head sculpture has some really good details on it, and here by this close-up you could also see the details in the Deadpool costume outfit as well as the Venom body, and if you look closely you can kind of see that he's got some purple undertones in it, kind of highlighting the veins. He looks really amazing. I really like how they designed the character. It's kind of like a 50-50 split between the Deadpool and Venom. Plus the colors are just amazing between the red and the black. One thing to note is, I don't know, I feel like the swords and the pistols, they kind of look a little bit tiny for the full figure, and obviously that's because Venom is really huge, and it's just because of the shape of it. To me, Venom seems to be more of a one-on-one, or just have bigger weapons than what the weapons that Deadpool uses, which is the guns and the swords. Again, like I said, on this Venompool, there isn't really much strong articulations to show action scenes that you could do with them. It's very limited. On this one, it was more conservative, just taking account of the delicacy of the figure. Overall, this is a very good figure to have. It's got really strong details, and it's one of those that you can have on the shelf, just have one critical pose. If you like what you see, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking of this Venompool. It would be nice in the future, especially in the series What If they have one featuring Venompool, where Deadpool accidentally comes across the symbiote, and then it takes hold of him, and it takes hostage, and then you get this Venompool. Honestly, the best traits of this figure, and again, Hot Toys is really good at doing this, is giving you all those little menacing tiny details of the figure. Here you can see how sculpted the teeth were done, the cut sections, the suit. I mean, honestly, when I first looked at this figure, I thought that the suit was gonna be actually made out of cloth, just overlaying with the Venom skin. But in reality, the whole thing is sculptured very well. It is all one piece. So to go into those intricate little details, that is amazing. Especially the belt features, the little pockets, the arms, the fingernails, the weaponry, the pistol, the swords, everything has really good details. So overall, I do recommend this figure again, especially if you're a Venom fan or a Deadpool fan. How can you not have this in your collection? And especially if you're after all the Venomized figures that I mentioned earlier, like Venom Groot, Venom Wolverine, Iron Man. I mean, there are so many Marvel characters out there that has came across Venom, where Venom has taken hostage of them, and this is just another example of that. Follow me on IG at Titandel86. The only negative thing I have about this figure is, like I mentioned earlier, is attaching the head and especially the hands. That is the biggest thing that I struggle with. If it wasn't for that, this figure would be super perfect. It would be a very flawless figure. This is all I have for you today. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. And I'll see you next week with a brand new one. Thank you and bye.